Thought I'd make a quick video about the Dodge Ram 1500 that I bought. Talk about some of the things I like and some of the things I don't like after driving it for 2,000 miles and taking it to a couple of shows. First thing I'd like to say is this little thing here, this spot, is a nice feature because you can step up and clean your windshield. And even though it's plastic, I mean, there's a lot of plastic on this vehicle, but it's easy to change. All these pieces are interchangeable. If you hit one corner, you don't have to replace the whole front end. I love the way the door opens. Opens really easy. And I actually really like the way it looks, even though it's very European. I think it's got a cool look to it. It's one of the few cargo vans you can get in cool colors if you look around. The mirrors are cool. They got nice lights here, which is a nice feature, you know, if you're on tight streets and stuff. And I like these rims that came with it. I think those were an upgrade. It's got flaps available for the back. The doors are big, and one of the things I didn't like about the Transit was if you look at the Transit vans, they get smaller as you go to the back of the van. So when you're trying to load, if you're trying to load something big and tall, or you know, you just want to have the same amount of space from the front cargo area to the back, you can't do that in those Transit vans. And I also like the fact that because this is a front wheel drive, the back is a lower step in, because you don't have all the, you know, the mechanic stuff past the front of the van. So you have more room there. So the other vans, when you get in, you have to step in and then step up over everything else. A couple things that took a little time to get used to is on this lock, if you go to open the back, even though you unlock the front, you still can't open the back. You have to push this, and that opens the back, which is kind of cool. You know, I mean, I guess if you're in a place where you want the front just to be unlocked, you know. And here is the area in the back. You can see it's, you know, rather large. And the Dodges come with a lot of features that the other ones don't. And I'll talk a little bit about that. This one had the bench seat, which overall is a good thing. I like it. It does keep you from getting from the front to the back without getting out. And one thing I hate about the bench seat is it doesn't lean back. So if you're driving as a passenger for very long, it's pretty uncomfortable. Another extra that came with this van is the top and bottom panels, and they are total junk. The top not so much, but the bottom, and you can see the crack in the door there. I mean, this van, when I bought it, only had 4,000 miles on it, and it already had all this stuff done to it. The guy had bought it and got every option and then never made payment, so it was repossessed. And this is one of the options that is just really, I don't even know how they can feel comfortable putting that on there. It came with the wood floor, or fiber floor, which is a cool feature. I will say that it is super slippery. So you can see that I tie everything down, and this is a nice feature that they have here. I think this is on all of them. This is not an extra. And it's dirty because I've been using it, you know, for a while, hauling stuff. So if you do get this wood floor, I would suggest that you either lay carpet down or you make sure that you have enough ties with you. Bungees work pretty well. And let's get up in here for a second. I can stand up completely, you know, to barely have to duck, but it's, you know, it's not bad. Another thing that I don't like about this van is all the features, all the extras, the add-ons that are there that are kind of cool, are cool, but they're not well thought out. For one thing, these lights right here. I still to this day cannot figure out where the freaking switch is for these lights. I've went to 2 dealers. I've looked around everywhere. I'm gonna have to trace the wires when I get some time and figure out where they put the switch. I do like the feature that it has a DC back here. If you're working with something mechanical, you need an air pump or a drill or something, that's pretty cool. And you know, I don't know what this is about. There's some weird foam things here, which I have no idea. These are in all these vans. I drove a bunch of them. But, you know, it's pretty cool. It's nice to be able to walk all the way out, walk all the way in, standing up almost completely. Another feature is it has the tow package, which is nice. And if you get the tow package, I would suggest that you get the one that has both of the different electronic connectors. The lights on the back are nice to have. And this does have the rear camera. Now when you get inside, like I said, it's dirty. I've been on the road. But you get the gist of it. It has this nice compartment up here where you can store stuff I've yet to use for anything. And a pretty decent stereo. Sounds pretty good. This one has the navigation. I think that is something they all have. It has XM, which is cool. I use that radio. It was on there when I got it. At first, I wasn't a super fan of...
In college, he was in a bar.
Of the way he was. This just felt very cheap to me, the way all these buttons and stuff were. But, you know, it seems to work fine. And, you know, I don't really have a problem with it after using it for a while. And I watched a bunch of videos online of people complaining about, you know, certain things about the van. That, you know, the cup holder's down here, which is kind of a pain, which it is, sort of. You know, what I did is get myself a thermos that fits in this side door cup holder. And I just keep a lid on it. And the lid fits, you know, the cup thing fits really good right there. I do like the fact that it has an extra auxiliary. You can put like an iPod in over here. And you can put your phone in over here. And, you know, there was lots of complaints about the dash feeling cheap and things like that. I don't really get that vibe. After driving a couple Sprinters and Transits and things like that, this seems actually a better dash and much more like a, you know, a car kind of vibe than they did to me. Also, the pickup in this van is every bit as good as the Ford Transit. I mean, this thing goes really well. The gas mileage is not great. I'm guessing it's about 14, 15 at best. So the Transit's got better mileage, and if you get the bigger engine in the Transit, I drove both of them, it's probably got a similar kind of pickup. This seems to be geared more for towing, so when you get a load, it seems to have more pickup to me. I don't know why. It must be the way it's geared. I will say these doors take a little bit of getting used to. They kind of stick out, you know, like it's supposed to be an armrest, but it's too far away from you. But, you know, it's kind of cool. And one of my favorite things about this is the window or the mirrors go in with the push of a button. So that is really handy if you are on tight roads or you're, going places where you have to go, really tight spaces or parking in a tight street. It's nice not to have to get out to do that. Another thing that I read when I was online and heard on videos and stuff is that a lot of people did not like these bars where the windows were, that they had trouble seeing behind them. After driving, I drove the Sprinter and the smaller one, which I can't think of the name of, and the Transit. They all have some sort of view issue. I think this is probably about the same. You know, if you just move slightly, you can see it's not that big of a deal. I like it. The mirrors are fine. The front view is way better, I think. If you're a super tall guy, you're going to have problems because you're going to be up here. And, you know, I'm like almost 5'8", so it's like not bad for me. It's like perfect. And one thing they didn't think out very well is the top half is white or a very light tan, and that's just not a good idea for a work vehicle. You know, I've only had it for a month. It's already starting to look kind of dirty, just, you know, and I don't even really work in grease or anything, so that's probably not a wise thing. But overall, I would say this is a great choice for a vehicle. It has, you know, lots of options on it. I love the phone setup on this steering wheel. I believe this is some kind of package with a fancier wheel. And, you know, it's got the tow haul thing, which I guess makes it drop to stay in lower gears or something. And these clips here, I mean, I can't imagine anybody ever really writing on a clipboard here because it goes downhill, which would be kind of strange. I will say, if you want the bench seat, this is a nice feature with the bench seat. It pulls down. It has completely 2 useless cup holders. I have no idea what kind of cup would go in there. It's like, you know, 1.5 inches or something. But if you do what I said and get yourself a thermos, that actually kind of works. This clipboard is actually fairly useful. But like I said, as a bench seat, I can't imagine why they wouldn't let you lean back. It's just kind of goofy. But it serves its purpose for me. The seat, the driver's seat, has a 7-point adjustment. One of the things is this arm here, which you can adjust under here. By turning this, it raises and lowers how high it is. And it's, you know, pretty comfortable. The seat is comfortable. It has a headrest, which is nice and comfortable. On the Sprinter and also the Transit, I found the seats less comfortable. There's some kind of goofy adjustments here on the side of the seat where you have to pull this back and forth to get it where you want it, which is kind of strange. And then, you know, you have this, which adjusts how far it leans back, and this is like your lumbar deal. But overall, it's very, very comfortable. I like the way the steering wheel handles. It's much more like a bus. There is a lot of complaints about the fact that the steering wheel only telescopes. So it only goes in and out, which is kind of goofy. And, you know, I can see why most people would not like that, because, you know, some people like to be down really low and then they don't want their steering wheel kind of cockeyed up in the air. And I can't imagine why they wouldn't make it tilt down, but it does not. It doesn't bother me at all because I kind of like it that way, but that'd be something you might want to consider. Kind of goofy, really. I don't know why they didn't do that when they have all these other options, but it doesn't bother me. I find it fairly comfortable. I hope this helps people that's looking for a van. I spent 2 months driving probably 20 vans. I drove 5 of these, 3 or 4 Sprinters, both versions, and I think I drove like 5 Transits. But overall, it's a cool van. I love the stereo. I love the backup camera. I think they all have it, but if it's an option, you got to spring for it because it's a must. This one does not have the side door window, which does leave a dead space when you're turning right. So you have to kind of maneuver yourself, turn your wheel right, kind of, you know, slant your van into your turn so that you can see out the window. That is something that took a while to get used to. Other than that, I'm real happy so far. So I hope this helps people.